This place isn't for people like you. You'll embarrass yourself. Go home before someone laughs. The words echoed in Aisha Rahman's mind long after the glass doors of the restaurant closed behind her. She stood frozen on the sidewalk, her fingers clenched around her purse, heart pounding so loudly she was sure people could hear it. The maitre d' hadn't raised his voice. He didn't need to. His eyes had done all the work, flicking over her body with a mixture of judgment and dismissal, as if her presence alone stained the polished marble floor inside. Behind the glass, couples laughed, wine glasses clinked, soft music played. Life continued. Without her. Aisha swallowed hard, forcing her legs to move. She walked away slowly, head down, the familiar burn of shame creeping up her neck. She had dressed carefully tonight. Black dress, simple makeup. She had even curled her hair, the way her husband once said he liked. Her husband. The thought felt strange now, heavy, sharp. Because less than an hour earlier, she had discovered the truth. She hadn't meant to find out. It started with a forgotten phone. Samir had rushed out that morning, late for work as usual, his tie half-knotted, irritation already etched across his face. "Don't touch my phone," he snapped automatically, even though she hadn't moved. Then he left it on the kitchen counter. Aisha noticed it hours later while wiping down the table. The screen lit up with a notification. Ria Blue. Can't stop thinking about last night. Her hand froze mid-wipe. At first, her brain refused to process it. Samir had meetings, late nights, work stress. He always said that. He barely looked at her anymore, barely touched her. But cheating? No. That kind of thing happened to other women, not to someone who cooked every meal, washed every shirt, sacrificed every part of herself to keep a marriage alive. Her fingers trembled as she picked up the phone. One message became 10. 10 became hundreds. Photos, hotel mirrors, inside jokes, complaints. She doesn't understand me. She's let herself go. With you, I feel alive. Aisha sank into the chair, the room spinning. She had given him 12 years of her life, and he had given her excuses. She didn't scream when he came home. She didn't throw the phone. She simply sat at the dining table, his phone placed neatly in front of her. Samir stopped short when he saw it. For a split second, fear flashed across his face. Then annoyance. "You went through my phone?" he said, as if that were the crime. "Is she real?" Aisha asked quietly. He exhaled sharply. "This again? Look, you've been insecure for years." "Is she real?" she repeated. Silence. That was answer enough. "She's just someone from the office," he said finally. It didn't mean anything. Aisha let out a sound that surprised even her, a broken laugh. "Did I mean anything?" Samir looked at her fully then, not with love, not even with guilt, with calculation. "You've changed. You're not the woman I married. You're always tired, always emotional, and let's be honest," his gaze dropped to her body, "you stopped trying." The words cut deeper than the affair, because part of her believed them. That was why she had gone to the restaurant. Not for food, for dignity. She had walked into that upscale place alone, hoping, just for one night, to feel normal, to feel worthy of being seen, to remind herself that she still existed outside of betrayal and mirrors that reflected too much. Instead, she was told she didn't belong. Again. Aisha reached her car and sat inside, gripping the steering wheel until her knuckles turned white. Tears blurred her vision, but she refused to let them fall. No. She was tired of crying quietly while others lived loudly. She drove home in silence. Samir wasn't there, probably with her, Ria, young, slim, ambitious, everything Aisha had been told she wasn't. She walked into the bedroom and stood in front of the mirror. For the first time in years, she didn't look away. She saw the stretch marks, the softness, the body that had carried stress, grief, late-night meals eaten alone, the body that had been blamed for someone else's choices. Her reflection stared back, eyes red but alive, and something shifted, very slightly, very dangerously. The divorce papers were filed 3 weeks later. Samir didn't fight it. He looked relieved. That hurt more than anger ever could. People talked, family whispered, friends took sides. Some offered advice disguised as pity. You should try to lose weight now. Men are visual, you know. At least he was honest. Aisha stopped explaining herself. She moved out, small apartment, second floor, no elevator, cheap rent, quiet neighbors. The first night alone, she sat on the floor eating instant noodles and cried until her chest hurt. The second night, she cried less. By the third, she didn't cry at all. Instead, she opened her laptop and typed something she had never dared to before. How to start over at 35 when you feel invisible. The results were endless. So were the possibilities. She closed the laptop and stood up. Her body felt heavy, but her heart felt lighter. 2 weeks later, she walked into a gym. Not the fancy one. Not the kind with mirrors everywhere and perfect bodies reflected back at you. This one smelled like rubber mats and effort. The receptionist smiled politely. "First time?" she asked. Aisha had ducked. "I just want to feel better," she said, her voice barely steady. "Then you're in the right place." A man looked up from behind the desk nearby. Early 40s, calm eyes, broad shoulders. No judgment in his expression, just curiosity. "I'm Arjun," he said. "I'm a wellness coach here." She hesitated. Her past echoed loudly. This place isn't for people like you. But this time, no one said it. Arjun extended a hand. "Welcome," he said simply. Aisha shook it. And for the first time since everything fell apart, she felt something unfamiliar bloom quietly in her chest. Hope. Aisha almost turned around the moment the gym door closed behind her. The air smelled unfamiliar. Rubber mats, metal, sweat, determination. All things she had avoided for years because they came with stares, comparisons, and quiet cruelty. She stood near the entrance, clutching the strap of her bag, suddenly aware of everything about herself. Her breathing, her posture, the way her thighs pressed together when she stood still. "This is a mistake," her mind whispered. "You don't belong here." They'll laugh. They always do. "Hey." The voice was calm, not sharp, not impatient. Aisha looked up. Arjun stood a few feet away, holding a clipboard. No rush, no judgment, just presence. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded too quickly. "Yes, I think so." He smiled, not the kind meant to impress, but the kind meant to reassure. "First days are always the hardest. You don't have to do anything today. We can just talk." Something in her chest loosened. They sat on a bench near the wall, away from mirrors. Arjun asked simple questions. Her schedule, her health history, her sleep, her stress. When he asked why she came, Aisha hesitated. Then she told the truth. "My husband left me," she said quietly. "He said I stopped trying. I just want to feel like myself again." Arjun didn't interrupt, didn't nod knowingly, didn't offer cliches. When she finished, he said, "Then let's focus on feeling strong, not small." The word hit her unexpectedly. Strong. No one had ever offered her that. The first workout lasted 10 minutes. 10. And she was exhausted. Her lungs burned. Her legs shook. Sweat soaked her shirt, and embarrassment crept up her spine. "I'm sorry," she blurted. "I thought I could do more." Arjun shook his head. "You did exactly enough." She blinked. "That's it?" "That's it," he said. "We build from where you are, not where you think you should be." She walked out sore, tired, and strangely proud. That night, she slept deeply for the first time in months. Samir's life, meanwhile, looked perfect on the outside. Ria moved into his apartment within a month. She laughed loudly, posted pictures constantly, dinners, vacations, gym selfies. Friends congratulated him. "Looks like you upgraded," one joked. Samir smiled, but something itched beneath his skin. Ria complained often about work, about the apartment, about how he never listened, about how he was emotionally distant. "You're not very affectionate," she said one night. "You should try harder." The irony stung. He found himself thinking of Aisha in strange moments, how she used to remember his mother's birthday, how the house had always felt calm, how, no matter how tired she was, she had asked him about his day. He brushed the thoughts away. Regret was inconvenient. Aisha returned to the gym 3 times that week, then 4. Some days she cried in the car afterward. Some days she felt powerful. Most days were a mix of both. She didn't lose weight quickly. Her body resisted change like it had learned to protect itself. But something else shifted. Her stamina improved. Her posture straightened. Her eyes looked clearer. Arjun noticed everything, but never commented on her size. Instead, he said things like, "You moved better today. You didn't quit when it got uncomfortable. You're stronger than last week." She started cooking differently, not dieting, nourishing, learning. She stopped eating standing up in the kitchen, sat down, took time. She bought new sneakers, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. One evening, after a particularly hard session, she sat on the locker room bench, head in her hands. "I feel ridiculous," she admitted when Arjun checked on her. "I'm 35, starting over. My ex already moved on. Sometimes I feel like I'm always going to be behind." Arjun leaned against the wall, arms crossed loosely. "Behind what?" he asked. She frowned. "Everyone else." He shook his head. "There's no timeline for becoming yourself." The words stayed with her. 3 months passed. Aisha didn't recognize herself in the mirror anymore, not because she was suddenly thin, but because her eyes no longer apologized for existing. She wore brighter colors, walked with intention, laughed more easily. One afternoon, she ran into Samir at the grocery store. He froze when he saw her. She looked different, confident, alive. "Hey," he said awkwardly, "you look good." She smiled politely. "Thank you." An uncomfortable pause followed. "How are you?" he asked. "I'm well," she replied, and she meant it. He nodded. "That's good." She walked away without looking back. Samir stood there, chest tight, watching her leave with something unfamiliar twisting in his gut. Loss. Later that week, Arjun invited Aisha for coffee, not as a trainer, as a person. She hesitated. Old fears stirred. What if I mess this up? What if I'm not enough? But she went. They talked for hours about books, childhoods, failures, growth. Arjun shared his own story, a past marriage, a burnout, a long road back to health. "I learned that love shouldn't feel like punishment," he said quietly. Aisha felt something click into place. When he walked her to her car, he didn't touch her. He didn't rush. He simply said, "I enjoy your company." Her heart raced. So did her smile. That night, Aisha stood in front of her mirror again. Same woman, same body, completely different energy. She placed a hand over her heart and whispered, "I'm not broken." And for the first time, she believed it. "This place isn't for people like you." The words came back to Aisha one night as she lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She didn't know why that sentence still haunted her. Maybe because for most of her life she had believed it, about gyms, about love, about being chosen. Her phone buzzed on the bedside table. Samir. She stared at the screen for a long moment before answering. "Hello?" I hope I'm not calling too late," he said. "It's fine," she replied, her voice steady. There was an awkward pause, the kind filled with unsaid things. "I saw you the other day," he said, "at the store." "Yes." "You seem different." Aisha closed her eyes. "People change." "I didn't realize how much," he said quietly. "I've been thinking about you." Her chest tightened, but not in the way it once did. "What do you want, Samir?" she asked. Another pause, longer this time. "I made a mistake," he admitted. "I was selfish. I thought happiness meant excitement. I didn't see what I had until it was gone." Aisha sat up slowly. "You didn't lose me because I gained weight. You lost me because you stopped seeing me." Silence. "I just wanted you to know that," she added. "Take care." She ended the call before he could respond. Her hands trembled, but her heart felt oddly calm. The next day at the gym, Aisha struggled. Her body felt heavy, her mind distracted. She failed reps she usually handled easily. Arjun noticed immediately. "You're pushing too hard," he said. "I'm fine," she snapped, surprising them both. He stepped back, giving her space. "Let's stop for today." Frustration flooded her eyes. "No, I don't want to stop. I don't want to go back to being weak." Arjun met her gaze. "Rest isn't weakness." The words broke something open. She sat down on the mat and cried, not quietly, not politely. "I don't trust myself," she said through tears. "Every time I feel strong, something from my past shows up and reminds me who I used to be." Arjun sat beside her, not touching her. "You're not who you used to be, and you don't owe the past access to your present." She wiped her face, breathing shakily. "But what if I fall back? What if I fail again?" He looked at her gently. "Then we get back up, together." The word "together" lingered between them. That evening, Arjun didn't text. He didn't call. Aisha tried to tell herself it was fine. Still, her chest felt restless. She had spent so many years craving attention from someone who withheld it. Now that someone respected her space, it felt unfamiliar. 2 days later, Arjun finally reached out. "Can we talk?" They met at a quiet park, sitting on opposite ends of a bench at first. "I want to be honest," Arjun said. "I care about you, but I don't want to cross a line unless you're ready." Aisha looked at her hands. "I don't know if I am," she admitted. "I'm scared I'll lose myself again." He nodded. "Then don't choose me, choose you. If I fit into that life later, great. If not, I'll still be proud of you." No one had ever offered her love without conditions. Something inside her shifted again. Samir's life unraveled quietly. Ria grew impatient with his moodiness, his silences, his distraction. "You're always somewhere else," she accused one night. "If you're not over your ex, just say it." He didn't deny it. That was the end. For the first time, Samir was alone, and he deserved it. 3 weeks later, Aisha hit a wall. The scale didn't move, her energy dipped, old cravings returned. She skipped the gym one day, then 2. On the 3rd day, Arjun showed up at her door. Not angry, not disappointed, concerned. "You disappeared," he said softly. She sighed. "I felt like I was failing again." He shook his head. "Progress isn't linear. Life interrupts. That doesn't erase your growth." She looked at him, really looked. "Why are you so patient with me?" she asked. "Because I see you, even when you don't." She stepped forward and hugged him. This time he hugged back. It wasn't rushed, it wasn't desperate. It felt safe. That night, Aisha wrote in her journal, "I am learning that love does not ask me to shrink. It does not rush me. It does not punish me for being human." She closed the notebook and smiled. For the first time since her divorce, she wasn't afraid of the future. She was curious about it. The first time Aisha wore a fitted dress in public, her hands wouldn't stop shaking. It was navy blue, simple, nothing dramatic, but it showed her shape instead of hiding it. She almost changed 3 times before leaving the house. At the mall, mirrors followed her everywhere. Old instincts whispered that people were staring, judging, measuring her worth by her size. Then it happened. She was standing in line at a cafe when 2 women behind her laughed. Honestly, how did someone like that have the confidence to wear tight clothes? The words hit her like a slap. Her body froze, her chest tightened. For a split second, she was back in her marriage, back to apologizing for existing. She turned.
The women stopped laughing when they saw her face. Aisha's voice surprised even herself. Calm, clear. "I'm wearing this because I like it," she said. "You don't have to." Silence. One woman looked away, the other muttered something under her breath. Aisha walked away, heart pounding but upright. Outside, she sat on a bench and cried. Not from shame, from relief. That evening, she told Arjun what happened. "I didn't fall apart," she said. "I shook, but I didn't disappear." Arjun smiled. "That's strength." She hesitated. "I still feel like I'm catching up to myself." "That's okay," he replied. "You're not late. You're right on time." The next week, Samir showed up at her office, unannounced. She saw him through the glass doors and felt the old reflex to hide. Instead, she stood up and walked out. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I needed to see you," he said. "You didn't block me. I thought maybe—" "There is no maybe," she interrupted. He looked her over, visibly startled. "You look different." "I am," she replied. "I lost everything," he said. "Ria left. I'm alone. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm asking for another chance." Aisha felt sadness for him, not love, not longing, just distance. "You didn't cheat because I was overweight," she said. "You cheated because you needed validation more than commitment." He flinched. "I won't be your lesson, and I won't be your regret." She walked away while he stood frozen behind her. Her hands shook again, but she didn't look back. That night, Arjun didn't respond to her messages. By morning, still nothing. Panic crept in. At the gym, she found out why. Arjun was leaving. "I've been offered a position in another city. It's a big opportunity." Her heart sank. When were you going to tell me?" she asked quietly. "I wasn't sure because I didn't want you to feel like you had to choose me." Aisha swallowed hard. "How long?" "A month." The word echoed. A month felt too soon, too fast, too final. "I don't want to hold you back," she said, even though every part of her wanted to ask him to stay. He nodded, pain flickering across his face. "That's why I respect you." Over the next few weeks, Aisha focused on herself harder than ever. She trained, she cooked healthy meals, she went to therapy, she spoke kindly to herself even on bad days. The scale moved slowly. Her confidence moved fasted. At a company event, a colleague told her, "You have presence." She went home smiling. The night before Arjun left, he asked to see her. They sat on the same park bench as before. "I don't want to leave without saying this," he said. "Knowing you changed me." Aisha looked at him. "You helped me save myself." He stood, she stood too. They hugged, longer than last time. No promises, no desperation, just truth. As he pulled away, she said, "Go, become everything you're meant to be." He smiled sadly. "You already are." When Aisha got home, she looked at herself in the mirror. Not thinner, not perfect, but standing. "I choose me," she said out loud. And for the first time, she believed it. 6 months changed everything. Not in a dramatic movie way, no sudden glow-up montage, just small decisions made every day. Aisha no longer hid behind oversized clothes. She chose comfort without camouflage. Her body was stronger, healthier, still hers. More importantly, her mind was quieter. She stopped punishing herself for what she ate. She stopped bargaining with mirrors. She stopped waiting to feel worthy. She already did. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday. Samir and Ria, engagement ceremony. Aisha stared at the card, her stomach tightening. Old Aisha would have cried or deleted the message or pretended not to care while unraveling inside. New Aisha folded the card and placed it in a drawer. She didn't need closure. But fate wasn't done testing her. That Friday, she attended a leadership conference for work. She walked onto the stage as a panelist. As the lights dimmed, she spotted a familiar face in the audience. Samir. He looked thinner, tired, older. Their eyes met. He looked away first. Aisha spoke confidently about resilience, self-trust, and rebuilding identity after loss. She didn't mention weight. She didn't mention betrayal. She didn't mention him. But every word landed. After the session, people approached her. One woman hugged her. "You said what I needed to hear." Aisha smiled. This was her real audience now. Outside the hall, Samir waited. "I didn't know you'd be here," he said. "I didn't know you'd still follow me," she replied evenly. "I'm not engaged anymore," he said quickly. "Ria left. She said she couldn't respect a man who destroyed his own marriage." Aisha felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not sadness, just clarity. "That chapter is closed," she said. "Please stop reopening it." He nodded slowly. "You've changed." "No," she corrected. "I healed." She walked past him without a second glance. That evening, she received a message she didn't expect. Unknown number. "I'm back in the city. Coffee?" She stared at the screen. Her heart recognized the rhythm before her mind did. "Aisha." "Sure." Arjun looked different, more confident, a little tired, still steady. I almost didn't text, he admitted. I'm glad you did, she replied. They talked for hours about life, work, failures, growth. No rushing, no pretending. I came back because I realized something, he said finally. I don't want success if I can't share my life with the right person. Aisha held his gaze. And who is that? He smiled softly. Someone who chose herself before choosing me. Her chest tightened. I'm not the woman you met, she said. I know, he replied. I'm asking to know the woman you are now. Weeks passed, slow mornings, long walks, shared meals, honest conversations. Arjun supported her health journey without controlling it. He celebrated strength, not size, progress, not perfection. One morning, Aisha caught herself laughing freely. It startled her. She hadn't done that in years. On her birthday, Arjun took her back to the park bench. He knelt. Not with a ring, with a letter. I don't want to save you, he said. You already did that. I want to walk beside you if you'll let me. Aisha cried. Yes, she whispered. Later that night, she looked at an old photo of herself. The woman who was told she didn't belong. The woman who stayed quiet to stay married. The woman who thought love required shrinking. She closed the album. I made it, she said softly.
The dress was not white. That surprised everyone. Aisha stood in front of the mirror, smoothing the deep emerald fabric over her curves. It hugged her exactly as she was. No hiding, no apology. Her mother wiped her eyes. You look powerful. Aisha smiled. I feel like myself. The wedding was small. No performance, no pressure. Just people who loved her without conditions. Arjun waited under an open sky, not a stage. No grand hall, no judgmental whispers. Just warmth. When Aisha walked toward him, there was no fear in her steps, only certainty. During the ceremony, the officiant asked if anyone wished to speak. Aisha surprised even herself by stepping forward. I'd like to, she said. The crowd stilled. She turned toward Arjun, then the guests. I was once told, this place isn't for people like you. I believed it. I thought love had a size limit, that marriage meant endurance, that silence was strength. She paused. I was wrong. Some guests wiped tears. I lost a husband, but I found myself. I lost comfort, but I gained courage. And when I stopped begging to be chosen, life chose me back. Arjun reached for her hand. This marriage isn't about being rescued. It's about being respected. The applause came without prompting. After the vows, Aisha noticed someone at the edge of the gathering, Samir. He didn't approach. He didn't speak. He just watched her laugh, free and unafraid. Then he left. Aisha never noticed. Later that night, as lanterns lit the sky, Arjun asked quietly, do you regret anything? She thought carefully. Yes, she said. I regret waiting so long to leave a place that made me feel small. He kissed her hand. I'm glad you walked out. So am I, she replied. Months later, Aisha launched a wellness program for women rebuilding after divorce. Not weight loss, not shame, strength, health, choice. At the opening event, a woman whispered, I thought I was unlovable. Aisha smiled gently. You were just in the wrong place. That night, Aisha wrote one final sentence in her journal. I didn't become smaller to be loved. I became stronger to love myself. She closed the book. Her life was no longer a recovery story. It was a beginning.